Okay, my next big question for you that I'm sure everyone's wondering is inflation is happening and we're seeing it in all different ways already. So where is it going to take us? What is that going to look like 6 months from now?
Yeah.
What do I need to be prepared for?
Sure. So, well, I don't have a crystal ball, but what I can tell you is that, if we look back to history, we can learn what to expect. Mm-hmm. So every time a Fed chair has stepped in and raised the Fed interest rate significantly in the face of inflation, it's combated it, it's counteracted it, it's resolved it. And that has happened, literally every time that they've done that. And what's really interesting about that, not that this is necessarily your question, but I know a lot of our viewers and the people in our advocate, base are really concerned about interest rates on their mortgages and what to expect for the future and how does that impact the housing market. So if we really look at it, Bobby, every time also that the Fed raises the Fed rate, while that does have the temporary effect of causing interest rates on 30-year fixed mortgages, those long-term mortgages, to rise, it doesn't necessarily have that effect on adjustable rates in the short term, and there's always a trailing effect of interest rates coming back down. Because when the Fed raises that rate, it's essentially their way of counteracting inflation. But what people have to see is that even the world keeps turning, we've been dealing with things like this since the dawn of civilization, and we relate to every time that something like this happens that it's brand new and unprecedented, again, more hyperbolic statements, because we actually do know what's going to happen. So the Fed raises interest rates to counteract inflation. Mortgage rates rise temporarily. Then when the economy starts to contract and enter a recessive cycle, which it's going to, definitely either by the end of this year or early next year, which again is another really scary thing if you don't necessarily understand what's going to happen. We've been here before. But when the economy enters that cycle, what will actually end up happening is that interest rates will come down. How do I know that? Because it's literally happened every time in the past.
Okay, that is what I needed to hear, because I think amongst my peers, everything is related to what happened in 2008.
Right.
But it does sound, and I'm learning more and more from you, that there's these cycles that have happened forever, and we're just comparing to the most recent one that happened to be one of the craziest ones.
Yep. In the last 9 recessions that this country has had, every time, except for the last one being the anomaly, was the only time that real estate values dove. The only time.